Is radon real? Is it a real concern? Well, according to the EPA, it's the second leading cause of cancer behind tobacco. Radon levels, it's radiation, that radioactive gas that builds up in your house. It's extremely prevalent in the upper Midwest, right in our area. I would say 70% of the houses have it and fail radon tests. Typically, we find that sellers don't really believe in it much, and the buyers believe in it a lot. But the reality of it is that if you have long-term exposure to radon, all the studies show that it could cause cancer. It is advisable to test for it and to have it removed from the house, and it can be mitigated from your house. Is it a step you should skip as a buyer or even as a seller or just as a homeowner in general? No, it's not. At the time of a real estate sale, time is of the essence and it's important. So we would use a professional tester, and they have to run a 48-hour test. They have to get a level of passing that's 3.9 or lower. If it's 4.0 or higher, you need to have attention brought to the property, or maybe have a retest if you had significant weather problems, high winds or blizzard conditions during the test. They may want to retest. But if it's during a real estate transaction, your timing would not allow for a private test. Plus, if you're doing it for a third party, we want a professional test result. But if you're a homeowner, you can go to the hardware store or Siouxland District Health and buy a kit for $5 or $10 and do a test. It takes a little longer to do the home test, and then you have to mail it into a state laboratory, and the results are for your own use. You wouldn't be passing them on to a buyer. But if your house failed, you could look at having a mitigation system put in. You could even put one in yourself if you have the right resources and skill sets. And then a completed system as a homeowner, if you were to resell your house, then would be evaluated by a radon mitigator or a home inspector to tell if it's adequate and it's put in correctly. And the house would probably be tested for radon at that time. We always recommend a radon test, even in homes that have radon systems. The worst radon mitigation issue that I ever had was on a house that had already been mitigated for radon. The other realtor on the other side was upset that we were having our buyer test the home because she felt it was an unnecessary step, but the house failed. And that test ended up causing a modification, and that was $5,000 at that time. So then that was a house that had a mitigation system. So just because it has a tube in it with a fan, even if it was done professionally, does not mean that it will pass. As a real estate agent, we're going to have you sign forms acknowledging that we've talked to you about radon and disclosed it. So for an agent to sit and say it's not real and it's just a big waste of time and it's a sham, when they're handing you forms to have you acknowledge that we've gone over it and recommended that it's not a good idea. You do need to look at that seriously because you are acknowledging that you've had it looked at. It is a personal choice on the buyer side, definitely something that they can look at on a case-by-case basis, but we recommend it, and we are going to have you sign in writing that we did recommend it. Typical radon test is $200 to $250. A typical radon system averages around $1,800, which none of that is a big expense at all when it comes to your health. So we do recommend that. You can go to radon.gov, Radon online, and look at the maps. You can have your house checked out. If you want guidance, we'd be happy to help point you in the right direction, whether you're doing business with us or not. As long as you're not under the guidance of a different real estate agent, you could call us and we could send you to the professionals that we've worked with based on our experience as a real estate agent with radon.